Welcome to King's Cultural. We got an early screener for the Solomon Saga. We're reviewing it. You're going to hear our commentary biblically first and hear all the historical things that we have to say about it. Enjoy.
Is a 23-minute proof of concept. We created it as a way to introduce you to a few of the main characters, some of the compelling storylines and themes that we know we're going to be exploring in the upcoming series.
First thing, nice
Yeah.
office. She got a nice office.
She does. She has a nice office. Looks pretty good.
We might need to get some pointers from her.
The Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Your Highness.
It's you.
My king?
Father.
We're not usually pointing out connections, but obviously you got Judas from The Chosen is playing King Solomon here. And then Eric Avari coming back. He was Nicodemus in The Chosen, and he's playing
David.
Really cold King David.
An elderly David. Yeah.
Elderly David, man. Is there anything else that you've noticed so far?
So far, I mean, it looks like he's sick, right? And I think in scripture he's just old, and so he gets cold really easy.
Yeah, it says now King David was old and advanced in years, and you can tell.
And so it just sounds like, when people get old, they just, they get cachexic is the right word for it, but they just lose their body fat, and so it's hard to be warmed.
I was just talking about something completely different related to production. We don't have that accent that's in every Bible show.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right off the bat. If there is no accents in the show when it's made, I am completely fine with it.
Yeah. You just got to stay true to it, right?
And I don't think Eric Avari, he didn't do an accent in The Chosen, as far as I could tell anyway. And that's fine with me. I hope they don't do accents in it just to change it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Breathe, Father. It's all right. It's all right.
In the ancient Middle East, it was a recognized medical treatment where as you were older and if you couldn't be warmed, that you would have a young woman lay next to you to warm you. It wasn't a intimate.
It wasn't a sexual thing. Yeah, it had nothing to do with that.
It was just a recognized medical treatment at the time. But her proximity to the king at this point would have almost made her as one of the king's, not harem technically, because they never slept together intimately in that way. She would have been politically in his harem, if that makes sense. She would have had the same status as his attendant in that way. Do you have a better way to say that, what I'm saying?
She's well recognized within, his household. I guess is a better way to put it. Not in an intimate way, but she has a higher status within the family.
Yes.
And that includes servants and things like that.
That totally makes sense.
I too am willing to sacrifice my life for the people of Israel. My loyalties will be with you, my king, but above all, my loyalties belong to God.
Please continue, Abishag.
Pardon me, I did not mean to.
You may speak to me as though you are my family.
Honor me, your highness.
Hey, what was that look there? I don't know if I like this. Hint.
I guess
Wink,
we'll
wink.
see.
Like a brother, right?
Yeah. Or maybe they're alluding to the fact that she has a higher role. I'm trying to find out when this story picked up. I understand it's at First Kings, but I mean quickly in the First Kings, he declares Solomon's going to be the reign, right?
I think it's literally right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Before that happens.
Whatever it is we have to say to each other, let us say it all. Speak your heart, son. You broke the commandment when you took my mother and sent her husband Uriah to die in battle.
My shame has been noted by the Lord.
Dog, just go in on your old dad, why don't you?
Dying conversation. Say what you want. Not hey, we've had a great life. Thank you for raising me up. It's hey, you sinned.
Yeah. Hey, you schmuck. Hey, Dad, why don't you go freeze to death?
Yeah.
You killed a man.
Look to that two-faced snake, Joab.
Why did you not punish Joab when he killed Absalom against your will?
I demoted him, put him under Amasa's command, thinking or hoping something would happen to him on the battlefield.
I was but a boy during that time, and yet Joab still
I
lives.
always managed to escape my sword.
Father,
He will not escape mine.
I like something that they're doing here already because it's a proof of concept. We have to remember that this isn't exactly the narrative flow that the show will be in because some of this it's a little out of place. David gives instructions to Solomon after Solomon already becomes king about you better get rid of this guy and you better get rid of that guy. I promised I wouldn't hurt them, but it's going to be in your best interest to hurt them.
Yeah.
um,
We skipped a lot of First Kings. First Kings
yeah,
1. Now we're in First Kings 2.
that's okay because they're seeding some of this stuff in there. Like they have the intention of actually going to these places. And I think that's a really promising thing for the series. If they're looking at, hey, David, you let your son get away with a lot. Like you let him have the kingdom, sleep with your concubines, while you just ran out of the castle. You know, I think it's promising that they're even touching on some of these things. It makes me very interested in what they would do if they got a full season out of it. How they would do this.
Yeah, I wonder why they took away like all the stuff with Bathsheba and that turmoil.
I think it's literally just we have this budget, we have this much time, and we want to
Hmm.
focus on who will be the main characters throughout the series. I'm hoping they're conflating some story elements and some timings only to make it a cohesive 20-minute project. That's my thought. That's my hope. If they got more funding, they would have a whole season, you know, almost dedicated to this.
And my kingdom will last until the coming of the Messiah, who will be descendant from me.
What a cool prophecy to share with your son. Like God promised me that the Messiah would come from me and go through you.
Do you think that David did do that with Solomon?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there was a record. There's if we have a record of it, Solomon probably had a record of it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there had to be some conversation about it, or at least David talked to someone in his inner court about it. Hey, this is a prophecy that the Messiah is going to come from my line,
Hmm.
and Solomon's next in line, so it's probably going to come from his line. There might even be a thought like Solomon's going to have a kid, and it's going to be him. You know,
Hmm.
you never know. Hindsight's 2020. Forward sight, you got nothing. You have no clue that it's going
Yeah.
to be another 700 years or however long.
Right. What I do like is they did bring Christ into it in his conversation with David, like we were talking about. And I wonder if they're going to do that throughout the series, of always pointing to Jesus in the things that are happening, which will be really cool. I like that aspect of it.
I love when Bible shows, even if it's not a show about Jesus, but even the Old Testament ones when they give a little like a wink, wink, wink.
Hmm. Yeah.
I like that. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
how do you feel about that?
Did they get married?
No, not according to any biblical record, not
Yeah.
according to even any traditions. They don't get married.
That caught me by surprise. Maybe it's easy to sweep it under the rug with all of his wives that he has later on.
Yeah, there's a few things that tip me off. Number one, there's no tradition that says anything like this.
Hmm.
And not even like extra biblical tradition. The only real idea that we have is that she kind of faded into the background and kind of lived out the rest of her days as one of David's, tending women or
Yeah.
whatnot.
She probably served Solomon to some extent, but because of her relation with David at the time, she didn't assume any kind of role in that way.
It might have been taboo.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That would have been taboo for sure. What's interesting is, the son that wants to usurp the throne is going to ask for Abishag's hand in marriage, essentially, and
Yes.
that's seen in a negative light. But then
Yeah.
here it's like, well, Solomon took her. It's like, hold on.
Yeah. He asks and he goes, "What? So you want to rip the whole kingdom from me too?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to be too critical of this point because it's proof of concept and maybe you're condensing characters that might come into play later. I personally would prefer to see a different first wife for Solomon, if
Hmm.
only to remove that taboo. For Western audiences, this totally makes sense. You introduce her at the beginning, they had
Yeah.
a thing for each other, they knew each other through his dad. For Western audiences, it makes sense. No one else watching will probably have that view, and that's
Hmm.
okay. Um,
Yeah, I mean, so there's some liberties there.
you,
And I think one good redeeming thing about this is that they renamed her as Devora, right? So now moving forward, it's like, okay, we changed her name. She's kind of disconnected. It's basically just a new character that you just know is just there.
exactly. Like it can kind of remove that acknowledging the elephant in the room to Bible nerds. That's all. All right, let's keep going. Let's plug away.
I was asleep, but my heart was wakeful. Hark! My beloved knocks. Let me in, my own, my darling, my faultless dove.
Your Majesty. Husband. I did not expect you back. Is that your new song? It is beautiful.
What song is that? Do you know?
So that's from the Song of Solomon.
Chapter 5, verse 2.
Yeah, some scholars point to the possibility that Abishag is the female protagonist in the Song of Songs.
Okay, hold on. Now I know why people are saying this. I forgot. Some people have conflated Abishag, who's a Shunammite, with the Shulamite in Song of Solomon, but those are two different things. But some people have conflated them, and so there is a connection for some people, like in the medieval period, but there's like no early sources on that at all before then. A little kissy poo.
Well, the trek through the desert was arduous.
Mm.
But we made good time in both directions. There were many traders, merchants, and caravans selling spices, silks. Huh?
Lavender. Such a sweet fragrance.
Added to your bath.
They're fun to watch together. I think that they would make a cute couple. Like, I think they got good chemistry just from that scene alone.
I will be taking the princess of Egypt to be my wife.
Oh no!
Before you speak,
No!
It is written. The Lord forbids taking foreign wives.
I do not love the Egyptian woman. I've never even met her.
What example do you set?
She is a symbol of our union with Egypt. My priorities and my goals do not always align with what is written.
So you put yourself above the law?
No, no, my love. God has gifted me with wisdom above all mankind. Because of this, I live by a separate set of laws. I rule by my own law.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah. Um, but I love that writing there because it's not explicitly. Solomon doesn't say that, of course. The Proverbs are full of you need to obey God's law. That's where true wisdom is found. But how he acts is in direct conflict with the Proverbs that he himself espouses. Solomon goes in 1 Kings 10, and he does exactly what God's word says not to do. He acquires many horses from Egypt, he acquires many wives, and he acquires for himself a lot of gold. So much gold that silver was worth like nothing. And this passage in 1 Kings 10 literally harkens to Deuteronomy 17. Where it said where it gives laws for kings, and it basically says don't acquire horses from Egypt, don't acquire foreign wives and many wives, and don't acquire for yourself much gold. And of course, he does all those things. And so there is this thought in his head that I'm given wisdom, so obviously I have a higher law, and that's sort of how he seems to live his life, based on these milestones that whoever wrote First Kings is connecting to Deuteronomy 17.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that thing today too.
Maybe they bring up a good point. Maybe Solomon thought because of his wisdom, the Deuteronomy laws are a warning. If you do these things, they'll get you in trouble. And he's thinking, because I have this wisdom, I can mess with this stuff over here.
Yeah, it
And
couldn't
still,
possibly lead me to ruin.
yeah. And maybe it's just a little bit insight to Solomon's actual character.
I don't think he would be stupid enough to ever say something like that. He's
Yeah.
wise. But I think these words are sort of a demonstration of how he acts.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're
Yeah.
going to see if this proof of concept is promising to be what the series will kind of look like.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I would really look forward to, is seeing that Solomon, it's the Solomon Saga is what it's called. But this protagonist is deeply flawed and makes some huge mistakes that I'm not the wisest man that's ever lived. And I'm like, hey, bonehead, what are you doing, dude? And so if the series were to deliver on this promise that we are going to portray him as very morally gray and doing some things that are very unseemly, I'd be interested to watch the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you even look in Ecclesiastes, which is usually attributed to Solomon too. And you can see all the things he puts his hand to, pleasure and just accumulating a bunch of wealth. The way they go about that in the show, if they did do that, that would make for an interesting show,
It would.
without a doubt.
God sent me here to protect our kingdom. Even if that means protecting it from the king himself.
I understand casting and stuff like that might have been an issue.
Yeah.
And so it's probably just easier to bring her along.
And I understand they're filming with, they only filmed with 3 people in this whole episode.
Do they really? Oh, wow.
I mean, so far, right? It's only 3 people.
Yeah, up to this point.
I'm really hoping it's just a condensing thing
Yeah.
and that they do it, they fit it a little more accurately.
Yeah. I mean, once again, like your casual viewer is not going to be thinking of these things at all.
No,
You know,
just us.
it's unfortunate. It's a curse.
It is. We have to overanalyze these things for the audience, for all the cultured kings out there.
When you do that, that you leave deeper things on the table, even for your casual audience. If there are things in there that, are even more historically true that your casual audience won't catch, those are the series that people like go back and rewatch as they're learning the scriptures to be like, oh, wow, that was so cool. You remember in season 1 how this person was, and it just kind of portrays a holistic, view of the text that they might not catch at the first glance. And as a writer, that's a good question of, how true to the text do you really want to be? And I think in the long run, it's just going to pay off,
Yeah.
right? You might not see immediate payoffs in the first season, first 2 seasons or whatever. But as your viewers grow and get accustomed to the show, when they go to review the first few seasons, I think it's something that they will come to appreciate, and your show will be elevated by paying attention to those little details. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
I'm with you, man. I like it.
Arrangements with the king of Tyre for the cedars of Lebanon to be sent to us. Gold will be arriving from all over the
These
world.
are all reasons to obey the law, not ignore it.
Gold will furnish the temple throughout. I will not rest until it is complete.
Meanwhile, he's building a house like twice as big for himself.
How can he not see that this decision is unforgivable? Make him see.
I love the sets. You seeing this?
yeah, they're beautiful.
But Bible nerd nitpicky. One of these things is not like the other.
You got a menorah.
What about it?
Yeah, it's got 9.
It's got 9. That's a Second Temple thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they would have replica menorahs. I don't think.
Mhm.
I don't know if people back then had those, but they definitely didn't have a 9
No.
branch.
Well, they do have a 7 there on the table. So
They do. They got 2 7s there.
It's for the set. Yeah, it's for the
Yeah,
set.
exactly.
It's big. It's grandiose. It
It
kinda
looks
sets
good.
the
They probably
stage.
found it online, and the set designer probably has no idea that there's a difference, and that's fine.
No. Yeah.
But let me be your set designer next time.
No, don't do that.
No, this thing looks gorgeous.
You would
I
never get
freaking
production
love
done
it.
if you put Ed on the scene.
Beautiful. Like, look at this. I think the scene looks great. I think they did a
Mhm.
great job. Good directing. All right, and that was the Solomon Saga proof of concept. Lance, I want to know what your thoughts are about this. What'd you like? What'd you dislike? And should we greenlight this series if we have funding?
It's a great question. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. A lot of big actors just to start it off, even before the pilot. Not only were they great actors, it was actually great acting along with it too.
Yeah,
They did a great job portraying what they were trying to convey. I think the stages were set incredibly well. We've watched a lot of Christian shows and movies, and I think as far as those are concerned, the production on this was really great.
I'd love to see what they decided to do with season 1. If they're going to focus the whole arc on the culmination is him being crowned at the end, which it's only a chapter, but there's a lot to do in that chapter. And introducing you do have Abishag there, you have David, you have Bathsheba, you have Nathan, you have the commanders, you have priests and prophets there, you have everyone really there, setting the stage. And so you get to introduce all the main characters. If you want to do things out of chronology, throw David's speech at the beginning there. You can kind of do that, and people will know that you're pulling from a chapter nearby as they read along in the Bible with it. I'm hoping with some of this that they clear up a few of these little issues that I think we had. Maybe they had to do this for the proof of concept, but I'd love to see a little more historical accuracy here, only so that things don't get muddied later, is my thought. That's my little nitpicks that as a Bible guy I have to do. I think it has a lot of promise as a guy who just likes watching good television. Um, you got a lot of great source material. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that, portraying Solomon as someone who feels like he can play around with the law would be a lot more accustomed to what we see throughout scripture, where he thinks that because of his wisdom, maybe he can protect himself a little bit more from the errors that the law warns about, rather than just kind of concerned on how he said, oh, I just operate by my own law. It's like, like we talked about, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, things like that. I don't think that allows the character development to go that way, but I think it's still really fascinating just to see what they do with it.
I think he said, I live by my own law under God, which is a very interesting thing to say because I think there's a lot of churches or maybe churches that have that view today. And so this version, this portrayal of Solomon almost would speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear even today when people say, well, the intent of the law was this. And then they go on to explain what that actually meant. And it's like, well, the law was stated in a way for a reason, right? Rather than to twist it. So I mean, if that's the kind of framework they're going to operate him under, I think that's fine. It was just a little warning flag in my head. I'm like, yeah, how are they going to play this off? But it also leads to a lot of great stuff when it comes to, Solomon seeking out pleasure and Solomon building up riches and building great things um, in the future. So I mean, it can go either way, but it's something that's pretty
I'm
exciting.
with you. If I'm going to green light or red light this, I'm going to give it a green light. I think there's a lot of promise here. And I think the people writing this and the director genuinely want to tell Solomon's story and make it a cohesive narrative for people who may not be entirely familiar. Even because I'll admit, even reading some of these stories, sometimes it's hard to keep the names straight. Sometimes it's hard to keep who's on which side here. I'm having a hard time remembering. And so seeing this narrative play out in front of you, well, if you use the correct people, I think this is going to be really eye-opening and really helpful for people to understand the Bible better. Um, and even seeing things in their cultural context, I think is so helpful to Christians approaching the Bible if they have this idea in their head.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a Christian audience, right? And what does a Christian audience want? They want to see their Bible come to life. If it feels off in a way, or it feels like that liberty is kind of taking that away a lot, you might lose some viewers. And then, some might say, well, in the artistic world, you can even use it as like a ministry to appeal to people who aren't Christian. It's like, I understand that, but let's tell God's story God's way. And that's what will ultimately bring people, because it points us to Christ. But it seems like they elevated her at the end there, where like now she's the one asking for wisdom, guidance from the Lord. And so I was like,
Oh, it does bring an interesting thing to mind though. How did the righteous people around Solomon react to the wisest man on earth doing so many stupid things? I'm
that'd be
almost more
exciting to see.
interested in that. Like, why isn't anyone telling him, "Hey, idiot, don't do that"? Probably because he's the king, I guess. That's the
Yeah.
simple answer. But I don't know.
Yeah, I give it a green light too for anyone
All
who's
right,
considering it. I like it. I hope to get the pilot going, and even the series from there.
beautiful. We're green lighting it. All right, that has been our review. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any thoughts, anything that you want us to review, or any Bible questions that you have, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to download my free ebook, Jesus in the Biblical Feast. And as always, to God all praise and glory. Thanks for watching.
Bow, 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 bow. Why don't you just like run at your screen with your hands?
I'm gonna do it.
Welcome